Hey, this is Valkrin and welcome to another episode of Secrets to High ELO. This episode's going to focus on the jungler and why it's so freaking important. A little help goes a long way. Warding at level 1 can have a huge effect on the outcome of the game. If your jungler gets behind, it can cause everyone to get behind. That's why in the LCS, warding at level 1 is critical, because it gives you knowledge about where the enemy starts, if they're invading against you and whatnot. You'll know exactly what's going on. Jungling is like sex. Doing it unprotected is dangerous. Just as important as warding at level 1 is giving your jungler a strong leash, because this will result in faster and healthier early ganks. Getting your jungler out of the first clear as quickly as possible is paramount to anything you can do in the early phase of the game. Jungling is like sex. No one wants to do it alone if they don't have to. The enemy jungler will have the option of invading at level 2 after doing their initial buff. This happens a lot in solo queue. And if you don't respond to the enemy invasion at level 2, it can get your jungler behind and get their jungler ahead. And all you have to do is peel off. As soon as you see the enemy jungler fighting your jungler in your own jungle, you just peel out of lane and you run there, because it can result in first blood and getting a free buff, which can snowball your entire team towards winning the game. The jungler-lane relationship has to be consensual, or your jungler might get raped. The jungle tax is actually a good thing, but in moderation. This is because junglers have an inconsistent gold and XP gain, while laners have a very persistent gold XP gain. Junglers are like freelance workers, while laners are like salaried workers. Laners have a very steady form of experience and income, plus bonuses on occasion, such as kills, objectives, and whatnot. But junglers, they have to kind of scrounge around and find their golden XP. But if you get your jungler ahead, if you keep them ahead, if you get them a steady flow of gold and experience by having them hold your lane, then your jungler can be even stronger and carry the game based off of having more objective pressure, map pressure, just have pressure on everything in the entire game based on having a stronger jungler. This might sound like common sense, but Smite scales with level. Having a higher level jungler means they're going to have a much higher chance of stealing Baron than in a typical game where it's, say, even levels on the jungler. Also, continued on the jungle tax thing, letting your jungler tax occasionally can result in you getting fed. And you have to follow this line of logic because it does end up coming back to the laner. If you let your jungler tax occasionally, they're going to be a little bit stronger than they would normally be. This could mean they're a level ahead or whatnot than they would usually be. Having a stronger jungler is going to mean you're going to have stronger jungle gank. Having stronger ganks is going to result in a better chance of getting kills, and a higher chance of getting kills is going to result in getting your laners fed. So allowing your jungler to tax, it can come back to actually get your laners fed when done correctly. Now, all of these points up here are incredibly important to jungler, and overall, it encompasses the most important aspects of jungling. Ganking, you need to know exactly what lanes you need to gank. It's one thing being able to gank a lane, get a kill, but it's another in knowing that, okay, this is the best possible lane I can camp to snowball this character that can carry the game later on. Counter ganking, knowing where the enemy jungler is likely to be. This is just about getting into the mindset of what the enemy jungler will do and make your decisions based off of it. Knowing when to do Baron and Dragon is also incredibly important, because if you start doing Baron or Dragon and you don't have ward coverage, it could be pinked or something like that, you might not have all their wards cleared, it could result in you losing the game. And the jungler is usually the one that makes the call to do it, so you have to know when to do it correctly. Landing Smite on Baron and Dragon is just as important as knowing when to do it safely. You can lose the game if you miss your Smite. So you have to know when to do it and then actually land your Smite. You have to ward vulnerable areas. And like, if your laners are only warding one side of the river, it's your job as a jungler to ward the other side. As a jungler, you need to make sure that you're giving your laners the best possible safety that they can receive by giving them more ward coverage. Getting lane and gold XP in the least intrusive ways. Timing objectives. This is very, very important. Knowing when to do Baron and Dragon is one thing, but knowing when it's actually going to be up is another. So putting these all together can give you pretty much the best possible way of playing a jungler. You need to invest time into learning each one of these aspects of the jungle, because they're all equally important, and they all can have a direct out. They all have a huge effect on the outcome of the game. And here are some websites you can choose to follow me or don't follow me. See you guys.